What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of No Mask Required. My name is Tyrell.
I'm Zach.
Just where you going?
All right, well, so basically, this is going to be episode 1 of a podcast where we try and focus on the source material for a lot of the comic book movies that we watch. And we're, just trying to, engage with the comic books in a way that's normal and, I guess, casual to people that aren't aware of the source material. So, whatever we see in movies, we always see these comments being like, this movie's bad. Oh, it sucks. The comic books are better.
Captain America.
But they don't... Hey, relax.
What?
But they don't know the source material of which it comes from, and that can sometimes affect, how people view the movie and its overall
True.
ratings, quality, and all of that. So
Eternals.
Yeah, Eternals was really bad. But
Yeah.
I guess a little bit about us. I started my nerd addiction to comic books when I was a really, really little kid. One of my first comic books that I ever really read was Teen Titans, the 2001 run with Tim Drake, Connor Kent, Impulse turning into Kid Flash, that stuff.
Was it because you were ugly?
No. It was
That might
because I refused to read an actual book, and my first grade class required us to have a reading log. And my mom just said, you know what? If he's reading something, he's reading. So... Yeah, that's kind of how we went.
A little different for me. I was just afraid of women altogether. So, my first...
No bitches?
Hold up now. Okay.
Crazy.
My first was X-Men. Yeah, what's the problem with that? Okay. Little young man, little young... Anywho, definitely was an X-Men comic. I forgot what it was. I just remember seeing Wolverine. That shit was fire. Ever since then, kind of exploded.
Yeah, especially with the movies when I was a kid. Tobey Maguire was my first experience for seeing movies like that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
When I started reading Spider-Man after that, I actually did not like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, whatsoever. I rewatched the movies after reading Ultimate Spider-Man and some of his, I guess, earlier runs from the 80s and 90s with Venom and, when Mary Jane and Peter were married.
They were actually,
When the writers cared about Peter Parker's happiness and not
be sad
just eternal suffering. Yeah. We can get into that in other episodes. But yeah, so
first one told see mine was Spawn, the old Spawn. That shit was heat for the time. Okay, let me tell you something.
Who was Spawn?
Was that
Nobody
Michael
knows
Jai White, right?
You-
I forgot what his name was. That's him. Who was Spawn? Shit if I know. I just know it was fire. I thought it was Venom, low key. It was somebody else.
You thought it was Venom?
I thought it was Venom. And it said Spawn. It must be something about Venom.
You don't know anything about the character Spawn?
I mean, he had something to do with hell or something, right? Or he died or some shit. I don't even know.
Yeah, pretty much.
He looked cool.
I'll let you read up on that.
Read.
Yeah.
T, can you read?
What? I can read.
Pictures.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's
okay.
me. I take offense to
Anywho,
that. I read comic books.
for real, that's the comic. Come on now.
You don't even know who you're... All right.
I said the first, okay? That's what broke my hymen, or whatever it's called.
What?
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
no.
That first. All right. Anywho, so Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Spawn. My fault.
Yeah.
Is Spawn one of your favorite characters?
No.
Who's some of your favorite characters?
My favorite character, combination. No, not combination. It's Captain America.
Which one? There's 3.
Steve, obviously.
Okay.
My boy. Number 2, I'll have to give it to Black Panther, Power to the People. And number 3 is definitely Icon. Those are my guys right there. What about you? What's your top 3?
Ooh, top 3 is hard. I've read a lot.
Well, give me 3 then.
Kind of The Flash, Wally
Okay.
West. He's
That's good.
he's one of the best written
That's a good one.
characters ever. The run that he had from the late 80s into the 90s and early 2000s.
That's a good selection, yeah.
It literally created the persona of the Flash that's been replicated on every TV show and movie since then. He's top tier. I think my next one would
Susan
be
Storm, Squirrel Girl.
for
There's
you.
For you.
behind the camera. Read
No,
this
no,
horny.
no. I don't care about Sue Storm. You think
I do. Shit. Anywho, what were you saying?
we must stay focused.
We will stay focused, my brothers.
I say after that it would be Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner. Not a lot of people know about him. You really actually have to read the books to know about him.
6 rings.
I mean, he was like his character was really cool because it was like the first time that an author grappled with like the actual construct of the Power Ring, and they had an artist be a Green Lantern. So his constructs were just much more elaborate, creative, all that stuff. And on top of that, the character was just really well written. It was really well. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. He became Ion after he became Green Lantern, which is just like Super Saiyan Green Lantern. Yep. That's the best way that I can put it without describing the whole lore. The lore.
Yeah.
And I guess my third one, it's a tie.
Okay.
But they're both similar enough. A tie between Daredevil and Nightwing. Nightwing, because I first started with like Teen Titans, you know, it was Tim Drake as Robin. Then I started reading all the other Batmans from like the 80s, even like the new Teen Titans where it was like Raven, Kid Flash, Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so following the evolution of Dick Grayson from Robin all the way to Nightwing to Batman, back to Robin. Yeah. He's one of my favorite characters ever. Daredevil, though.
He's pretty gas.
He has never had a bad comic book run in his entire existence.
I haven't read his books.
That's a shame. You should, yeah. He's they really do a good job of having a character grapple with like faith, reality, and that's an odd way of saying reality when they're in a make-believe universe, but you know, there's some real concepts to the character that they grapple with on the page. But it's not overly religious to where you're sick of it, but it's a very important cornerstone to that character in Matt Murdock and how they can write that in. The tragedy, the ups and downs, all that, flawless.
So check it out.
Yes, you do.
I mean, Ben Affleck did great in the movie, so you know.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
You like what was his name? Deadshot? You remember that?
Deadshot?
What about Kingpin? You like him?
You mean Bullseye?
Oh, Bullseye?
Oh,
same difference, bro.
Oh, bro.
Fuck it. What are we talking about?
As you can see, there's gonna be one of us who knows about the books and one of them who
I don't know about Daredevil. Who knows something about Daredevil? That's all right. He can't even see.
Anyways, how am I pretending you didn't say that? We're about to get violent here.
What did I do? What?
Dude, you gotta like, you gotta give him his flowers.
You alright, you cool.
See, I'll take it.
I don't think he likes disabled people.
Honestly. I don't fuck with him. No. They take all the parking in the front. You can't have shit. You know what I'm saying?
What?
What?
But what other characters do you hate though? Because you hate more than just Daredevil.
Yes.
Who else you hate?
Batman. I fucking hate that guy.
And that's fucking blasphemy.
How's that blasphemy? I don't fuck.
We should honestly shut the show down right now.
First off, how come it's just weird having a character who needs prep time for everything.
He doesn't.
That's just weird. He does though.
No, that's
he's already prepared.
Somebody, he gets prepped and then he wins.
Respectfully, that's
he loses, prep wins.
That's what an Instagram comment section says. If you actually read Batman, prep time is not needed.
Fuck Batman.
That's like his whole thing. He doesn't need prep time.
Fuck Batman.
Have you never seen the Lego Batman movie?
Anywho.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot her some bail. That movie is really funny.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I
don't even count that as a Batman movie though.
You guys are acting like it's Amazing Spider-Man 2 or some shit. Like it's pretty good.
I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not a Batman movie. It's a Lego Batman movie.
True.
It's true. The way it cooks.
Lego. That's just it's over here. Legos are fire, but the Lego movies are
also fire.
Canon, you know?
But they're not the same as like comic book movies.
It's a little different.
But I still want to go back to how he hates Batman. Like you watched The Dark Knight and felt nothing.
Well, I mean, like I think he's a good character.
You watched the
comic
Batman?
book wise.
You watched the
comic
Batman.
book wise. Yeah, I watched the Batman.
What comic books by Batman have you read?
None.
Let that be a lesson on ignorance.
Okay, hold on. I've read something on Batman. I still remember. That's all.
Let that be a lesson on ignorance.
Wait, okay. Another one I don't like, Aquaman.
I can get on board with that. I don't hate Aquaman. I think the hate is forced sometimes, but like
I don't vote with him.
But this man like Spawn?
He started with
Spawn.
He doesn't know anything about Spawn.
That was like 1980 something, right? 1990 something.
How old are you?
Shit.
enough.
25.
Old enough.
Hey, 25 years young. 99.
All right, I have validly like hated characters.
Okay, give me some.
One that I really don't like. This is blasphemy. Charles Xavier.
You don't like Professor X?
Not.
Info?
I hate him now. I used to think he was awesome in his 90s runs. Basically, when he was in a wheelchair, he was fantastic.
Okay, so what I'm getting here is you love disabled people. He hates them. In comic book stories, that's so specific.
Wait, hold on.
This is really specific likes and hates.
Let me cook. I'm getting there. So, in the comic books, I guess Charles Xavier dies from the Phoenix Force.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's resurrected where he can walk, but he looks like some ex machina guy with like a helmet on him with like a glass visor in the shape of an X. Everything about that Charles Xavier does not reflect the Charles Xavier in the past. So that's where I'm like, in my opinion, it's like a perversion of the character, and it kind of admits defeat for the original purpose of Charles Xavier in that like whole allegory with like, you know, like racism, MLK, all that. It just completely throws that away. And he's no longer like a man on a mission. Mm-hmm. He's just like a guy with beef.
Still a goat though. Nightmare. Come on now.
Have you read X-Men?
Yes.
Which one?
I can't tell you right now. Is at home. Went to a different school, buddy.
Yeah.
Well,
another one that I really don't like.
Is it? Wait, hold on. I think we should address. How are you adverse to books and women? Like that's the crazy combo.
Books and women.
I mean, you said you were scared of women in general.
Yeah,
that's how you started watching Spawn. Because
Yes.
you only watch Spawn if you're adverse to women.
No, wait. Listen, it was on TV because I was inside because women outside. That's simple as that.
So what are the movies that you did watch and like actually liked that made you like this stuff?
Definitely.
Because there's no way it's Spawn.
No. Definitely Spawn.
That
Definitely,
movie's great.
If
it's in your favorites, you're either like 55 or you just have not watched movies off of VHS.
Good. For me, it was the first Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man. I'm trying to think
of movies that you like.
Yeah,
not the second one. Most people's the second one.
The Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Spider-Man 1, I didn't like it. Spider-Man 2 is perfect. Like I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't like 3 that much. First 2 were good.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of shit.
Anyways, I can tell you what my favorite are while he's thinking about it.
Yeah, let me cook. You do your thing.
Number 1, this is gonna sound like blasphemy, but it's the Batman. One of my favorite comic books of all time is A Long Halloween, and then my second favorite is Batman Hush. It is both of those comic books inside of a singular movie. It's fantastic. Second one, I would probably have to say it's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I don't know why, but when I saw it, I fell in love with the character of Captain America. Before that, I was just kind of apathetic to him.
Team Iron Man. Anywho.
That's a red flag. I don't like that.
Nah, I fuck with him. Team Iron Man.
Okay.
All day.
All right.
Keep going though. Don't mind me.
And then I think after that, like I've always really liked. This could sound like complete blasphemy, but The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Like I know it's not that good in terms of like a movie with writing, but in terms of like character design, suit design, being able to bring Peter Parker from the page to the screen in a way that actually reflects the comic book's Peter Parker. I loved it. 100%. And the hate it gets is 100% valid.
Okay, so what are the actual good ones? Like, what do you guys think is the best? Because you're basically naming a bunch of trash, respectfully. So what are the best ones?
You mean, okay, so the best commercial slop, if that's what you're asking.
That's not what I asked.
Avengers, the first one, that shit was heat. What else? What else they got?
I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that one.
You gonna disagree with the first Avengers?
Was the only spider that actually did spider things. That's why I prefer it.
Yeah, put your hands up.
Come
over here and say that to me.
I'll say it right here. I'm country, bro.
No, come over here and say that to me.
No, I'm not getting any closer.
Come
All
on.
right, so
Respectfully.
in terms of the best one, honestly, like obviously The Dark Knight, it's not just one of the best comic
That's
book
good.
movies of all time. It's one of the best movies of all time. Like,
Based opinion.
well, I mean,
Like it's objectively.
it's
excellent.
objectively true. People can fight me on it. If you can find a better movie for like a superhero, for like superhero adjacent, anything near that,
I honestly don't think there's a better one.
no. The next,
Even Spider-Man 2, which I think is amazing. It's not the Dark Knight is just like
it's perfect.
it's perfect.
It-
The
yeah.
performances,
The
the
timing, of it, the
writing,
rhythm, all of it.
the cinemat, like all of it is just.
Character design. My only beef was like the Joker's makeup wasn't as like brushed in as I would like, but I think that.
But I
also
think that
feeds-
added to the
that
like
added to
the
his character.
manic
Yeah,
behavior.
Yeah, it expressed that he was like, you know, like crazy. He was insane.
But I feel like that should be like number one for everyone. But like 2 and 3, I feel like it changes for everyone. Like a lot of people love Infinity War. I love it too, but
I
not
love
like
it
that.
War.
It's
Guardians of the
good.
Galaxy.
It's good,
That was
but
one for
I have beef with the Infinity War movie and the I guess Endgame. Not because they were bad movies, but just I read the actual like Infinity War storyline and fighting
Oh, there's so
Thanos
much more
without
to it.
Adam Warlock or the Fantastic
Mm.
Four. It just felt like something was missing. You know what I'm
There's a lot
saying?
missing.
Like they
Like,
could have. I
the
mean, I
reason
liked how they
behind
did.
Thanos that was missing. But, like,
Trying
what he
to
was
make-
trying to do, not just like what is like resources. Bro was like in love with death. Like,
Yeah,
he kept
it
doing
was. Yeah, they tried to make like a Malthusian argument of like,
Yeah.
we're gonna run out of resources and people are gonna, fight over them, which I think that's like a broken record.
Yeah.
And Thanos in the comic books is just one mean bastard. Like that's
Yes.
it. There's no hero to the story, anything. He's just
No.
like, I want to kill
So
people
bad.
so I can charm Lady Death.
Yes.
Completely self-interested.
Yes.
Does not care about anything
Come
else.
on now. We
Uh,
doing.
I don't know. I think Batman has the most good ones. And then, how do you feel about the Spider-Verse movies? Because I have one of those in my top 3. Across is
Across
They're so
Across
good.
is
across the Spider-Verse.
excellent.
The music, the animation behind the animation is so good.
like Miles as a character. Like, so if you guys read
Horrible.
Ultimate,
Horrible.
and then after that you get to Miles. Miles sucks.
My hottest take is that Miles sucked all the way up until Spider-Verse.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's just not because the character.
Because
was-
even the Insomniac games, his character is not interesting at all. It's
it
not
wasn't
compelling.
developed
Yeah.
enough until his actual game, and even then there were some like
Mm.
plot holes with his whole character arc. And then in Spider-Man 2, they kind of fixed it, but it's not. For games centered around Peter, Miles should have been more focused on if they were going to take that direction from the start. You know.
Yeah.
But Miles was really bad in the comic books. I would challenge everyone to go see the Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales
Okay.
from like I think the first one dropped in 2010. Horrendous. Yeah.
It's bad.
Like
I
you
don't
don't
know.
understand what's special about Miles.
Mm.
Like there's no like
He's not even like he cares about being Spider-Man, kind of, and they don't do anything with that angle at all. The only interesting part is I forget what it is. I think it's 8 in his Venom attacks. His mom
his power
dies,
set's really
and then he
cool.
doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore because it has actual consequences. That's the only story I like from
Ultimate.
Ultimate. That's the only one.
Yeah.
Everything else, like Miles sucks. Like he gets found out immediately. He's super lax with his secret identity.
Yeah.
Like he's
I
just
can
not
see that.
cool.
He doesn't like what Peter makes up for in intelligence, Miles made up for in power set.
Mm.
So now Peter had to be smart, make his web shooters. Miles
Yeah.
didn't make his web shooters. Miles had his web shooters given to him.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, they were able to like retcon that and make Miles like a different, like completely different character. Not like he's not Spider-Man anymore, but like the Miles that I was reading
Mm.
completely transformed.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the Spider-Verse movies do an excellent
They do
job
an
giving him
excellent
an
job.
actual
Okay.
character. I
Yes.
think he's the most. I honestly, in my opinion, I feel more like things about Miles, the Spider-Verse Miles, than I do Peter, which is crazy because Ultimate Spider-Man is excellent.
Yeah, I can't agree with that only because Ultimate Spider-Man before Miles was perfect from start to finish.
The Ultimate Spider-Man is
It's
excellent.
yeah. Cannot
But
recommend it.
I find him Miles more likable in the Spider-Verse movies. Not Shameik Moore, of course.
Yeah,
But-
we don't have to talk about
We don't have to talk about that.
Bro scares the host professionally.
We're gonna talk about Shanique.
I was talking to her.
Which is crazy. I want an actual conclusion.
He reminds me of Miles from the comic books. Like, not like a character that you can engage and relate with, but one that you look at and be like, bro, what are you doing? Yeah, like, like that Haley Steinfeld stuff where it's like, it's so much easier when I'm talking to Haley.
I was talking to her.
Yeah, T, did you see that post that he did with Laura something?
Yeah, what
we talking about? It wasn't about her. I'm just talking about myself. No, the fuck you're not. Come on now. What the fuck it? What are we talking about?
Bro's being weird. He's being weird.
I'm trying to do the cloak and dagger shit.
Actually
get the coat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he is the reason that we don't get Across the Spider-Verse Part 2, or I don't know what the last movie is
I think
called.
it's Beyond.
Beyond the Spider-Verse. If he's the reason we don't get Beyond the Spider-Verse in another 2 years, I'm gonna be upset.
He is the reason.
Because now there's a bunch of reports about it like being like delayed.
That was from the animation studio though.
Yeah, and like
That's
all
not
this
from
also the labor too.
No, but even like for like promotional purposes, how could you put him and Haley Steinfeld out together?
They don't have to record at the same time.
No, just doing promo runs. Like, what do you got? They're the two main characters.
They also don't have to do that.
Bro,
it's gonna be weird if they don't. They're the two main characters. Yeah, that's not normal. Splitting them up, that's
You
weird.
want to know what's not normal? Shamik Moore going on every interview being like, it's so much easier when I get to flirt with Haley.
Yeah, but that's gonna be the narrative around the movies.
Yeah, the whole time.
I think there's so much money in it already and so much investment that they're gonna figure out a way to make the promos.
They did. It's pushing it back to make sure people forget and don't
erase that from the brain. Because, oof.
At this point, I just want it. I just want the conclusion. Because again, I think it's one of the best characterizations of Spider-Man of all time.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean the way that they wrote Miguel O'Hara. Not like how it is in the books as much as I'd like, but enough is there. Like, enough is there where I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good take.
Because all of them are like super distinct and like comic book accurate.
Yeah, they're like
they're all Spider-Man, but you can tell the differences.
Specific way.
Yeah, and they're like thought process, like their own morals. Because even though like anybody can wear the mask, all the Spider-Man are different.
Yeah, they're like the same but different. They, like the canon event stuff, I think was really good for Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Like having, first of all, taking that from like disgusting comic book fans like me and using it in a movie, genius. Because now everyone's like, oh, it's a canon event, bro, and I'm like, y'all don't know. Like that's been a thing for every comic book and every comic book character forever, and it was so awesome to see that actually admitted on screen. It's like, yeah, you're Spider-Man, somebody gotta die.
Yep.
You can't be Spider-Man for free. Like, what's wrong with you?
Consequences. Yep.
Yeah, so I really like that movie a lot.
T, did you think about yours yet? What's the best ones you see? And don't say it's probably like Civil War or something.
No,
something crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Mine, easy peasy. First off, Avengers, the first one, definitely fuck with that heavy. Second one on my list, Guardians 1. Another movie, back to front, front to back. I love that movie. Number 3,
It was Guardians 3.
Of course, Guardians 3, but just Guardians 1 was really got me back into Marvel, so definitely.
I think Guardians did actually a lot for like the anti-hero character archetype. I think it did a lot for it.
I disagree for one reason only, is because it didn't do as much for anti-heroes as much as it did for not as well-known heroes. Guardians of the Galaxy before that, if you asked anyone other than comic book nerds who named 4 Guardians of the Galaxy, they would not be able to tell you a single one.
Oh, I agree. Guardians was not a very big series.
I credit James Gunn for finding weird, but like, I don't want to say mainstream, but for Guardians of the Galaxy has had roster changes for decades, and those are the ones that I guess are most recognizable amongst comic book fans. Yeah, which was easily able to translate over to the screen. I think that was really good.
Very good. It was more like refreshing, I guess, for Guardians for me.
The way I think they revolutionized movies, period. Having a soundtrack from Guardians of the Galaxy like that just made every movie afterwards use classics.
Come on now. Shout
And
out
that's
Danny
actually
Bell.
annoying. I actually hate that.
No, it is
Hate that.
annoying
That's so
because
good.
No, because all I hear is like 80s alternatives.
70s,
Like I'm tired of
and
hearing
they
it
don't
in every
match it.
action scene. It doesn't even match like the aesthetic of
they
some
don't match the
characters.
aesthetic of the movies that they're in
That's
anymore.
fine,
So that's
yeah.
why it's like, okay, like Guardians was really good with it because James Gunn understood that the
was the
vibe
whole-
of all these
yeah.
old songs he used to listen to and making Peter Quill a man at a time,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
That was fine.
adding those two things together, like
Mm.
Star-Lord and music,
That's
from the movie.
thing.
Like,
Yeah.
and that he influenced the comic books, video games, everything
Mhm.
from that movie take. Like it
It
was,
was good.
yeah, it was.
Love Star-Lord. I
Yeah.
guess the last one, definitely the first Iron Man. The movie was
Okay, why do you glaze Iron Man? Is it
I was
because of
about to say-
RDJ?
no.
Because I feel
you
like
sure?
people love Iron Man specifically because of RDJ, and he's such like a charismatic actor. Like if I asked anybody, what do you actually like about Iron Man?
Mm.
I don't.
I
get-
love Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I don't get an actual response.
Like I just more to me, I guess more of his problem solving is kind of how smart he is, how he
And
deals
you
with
hate
situations.
Batman.
Fuck Batman. But I love Iron Man. That's
See,
my go.
this is an egregious
Bro,
take.
it is.
It's not even egregious.
It's not
I
that
love
good.
Batman. That's my go. All right, Batman.
You're
Iron
lucky
Man.
Oh,
You're
wait,
lucky our
no,
chat is
Iron
not
Man.
live, bro. Saying
Iron Man's
you
my
hate
goat.
Batman is
I don't fuck with
crazy.
him.
But you
I've
love
heard-
Iron Man.
Iron
though.
Man's my goat though.
I've read enough comic books for me to not like Iron Man as a character.
I like Iron Man. RDJ is cool. I think the story behind like him becoming Iron Man is cool, but like it's not influencing Iron Man. I don't see why that would influence Iron Man. That's interesting, but Iron Man's my goat.
Like RDJ influencing Iron Man?
Yeah, like I don't know why people like. Well, I understand he did very good as Iron Man, but
Well, people don't know Tony Stark's character. I
Yeah.
know Tony Stark's character. That he is.
I think
good-
RDJ did actually such a good job as Iron Man. He is now Iron Man. If you get what I'm saying.
No, that's
It's
exactly
like his
it.
characterization
Totally.
as
him.
in the movies is now what people expect whenever you say Iron Man.
Anybody that reads comic books would admit that Iron Man's like comic character is detrimental. Like
Yes.
the amount of
Yes.
issues that single character has caused. Like the
He's
Iron
an
Man
ass,
2
dude.
explored his alcoholism.
Yeah.
In the comic books, it like actually showed how bad it got
Yeah.
and how much it influenced like characters from
Not
like
good dude.
other like supporting characters like Pepper, Rhodey, Captain America. Like other people were like, "Hey,
Yeah.
dude, you have an
What's
issue.
going
Yeah,
on?"
you got a problem."
Yeah.
And those features that make Iron Man toxic more than helpful.
Mm.
Like he's helpful in the macro, but in terms of the
Yeah.
micro, he's a very toxic character.
Yeah, I give you that.
In the comic books, I mean, if you read Civil War, not watch Civil War, if you read Civil War, he basically imposes everybody should not have a secret
Yeah.
identity because it's safer. Like it's safetyism over like practical safety, and it you know
Yeah.
led to a whole breakdown of the Avengers in the comic book line. Like the Avengers all just broke apart, and then the Dark Avengers came out where Norman Osborn, who's a Green Goblin, becomes a new Iron Man and
Crazy
makes
as fuck.
an Avengers team with psychos and assassins.
Mm.
So that's why I have beef with Iron Man.
I don't see a problem.
But isn't Iron Man like emotional though? I think that's like the point. He makes a lot of, you know, rash decisions.
He's a futurist, and like they do a really good job about exploring the negative sides of being a futurist, and they write a lot of stories where that attitude and idea comes to bite him in the ass. Like with Superior Iron Man, how he makes his Endosim armor out of a symbiote, like Spider-Man wasn't public about the symbiote being really bad, and like he doesn't want anything to do with it. I don't.
Improved on it, that's all. Come on now.
He became like a villain, dude.
It don't matter.
Okay, let's flip it then. T. Who do you think is the best written? Because you love
The
glazing.
best
him.
written?
Yeah, because you just love glazing Iron Man. Like who's
I'm
the
not
best written?
lazy Iron Man.
Okay, so why do you like him?
You just a go.
Is he one of the best written characters
The
though?
best
to
written
you?
character? No.
Who are some of the best written characters to you?
That's a good question. Best written characters?
He don't read.
I read plenty. Hey, yo. Come on, dog. College educated.
Again, you're lucky
He doesn't
the
read.
chat is not live. People would just be calling you
What are you
illiterate,
calling me
bro.
out for? What do I do?
Name 6 comic
You
books
hate
you
Batman.
read.
That's just like sin.
I still like Batman. What's wrong with that? A lot of people don't like Batman.
You have to
6
admit he's one of the best written characters in all
Batman
of comic
is
books.
a good written
Hold
character.
on. One of the best? He's a very well written character. Don't get
He's
me
very
wrong.
well.
One of the
Well-written
best.
character.
He has to be at least top 5.
Okay.
He has to
He's
be.
not top 3, but yeah.
He has to be top 5.
Superman, I think, is a better written character than Batman.
I was about to say that.
Which version?
What do you mean, which version?
All-Star? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
All-Star became inspiration for everything that came afterwards. Before that, he was just kind of like a truth, justice, American way, and I'm strong enough to do that. But All-Star Superman really grappled with his humanity, other than his.
So where is he? He's top 3.
raw power.
So you have Batman, what, at like 5?
I do have Batman at 5, yeah.
And where's Soups?
Soup's 3.
Then who's 4?
Who's
2 and 1.
4?
Yeah.
Wolverine. Wolverine is he's a really well-written character.
I feel like you glaze him, though. I feel like you glaze.
No, you have to read
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Are you sure you got these socks on?
I don't see
My socks
nothing.
on. That's
I don't see not a thing.
They're a part of my shoes.
Bro got 2 tattoos on his leg. That's
That's crazy. Nah, I'll tell you why Wolverine's one of the best written characters. And this is just more of like a niche preference of mine. He originally is written as very stone cold with like brief episodes of like emotionality and rage. He then transitions from like Weapon X towards someone who's able to like handle all of the trauma that he's had throughout his entire life and like teach, lead, and almost be like an uncle. I don't want to say father figure just because he's a horrible father figure, but as like a role model, he's become a role model figure for a lot of mutants in Marvel that is really underappreciated, in my opinion. Like, we don't see that in the movies at all, people looking up to Wolverine. Like, we see it in Deadpool and Wolverine where, like, he's the best hero ever, da-da-da-da-da. But it's not, like, you just assume that because half of it rides off of the nostalgia of the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
But, like, the respect he has across the characters in the Marvel Universe and comic books, it's undeniable how well that character arc has come. Like, he's still... scrappy, annoying, kind of an asshole.
Yep. Absolutely.
But everyone's like, no, he's top notch. He's the best. He's the best at what he does.
He's alright. Cool.
So that's my
RT,
opinion.
he gave to Savior 2 of 1. Who was your 5, 4, and 3?
5, 4, and 3.
And don't say Iron Man unless you're gonna explain it.
He's a go.
He's the GOAT! LeBron! No, let me see. I like Magneto a lot. Don't know where I'll put him though. I'll put him at 5.
He actually has had insane character development.
It depends on the version though.
I like Magneto. I like X-Men a lot. It's good. Definitely Blue Marvel.
Blue Marvel is underrated. I like Blue Marvel.
So underrated.
So explain him.
Well,
Who is Blue Marvel?
Blue Marvel, he's the original GOAT. Okay, that's number 1 right there. That should have been my day 1.
It is canon. He was a superhero in the 60s in the Marvel Universe who, because of the Jim Crow South and a lot of racist, I guess, culture.
This man saved the world. They saw he was a black man, so I don't fuck with it. And they made him stop being a hero.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, ugh. And this man's like super smart too. Oh my goodness. That's why I like him and Jon Stewart. But that's a whole other thing.
So Jon Stewart's your number 4.
That's not my number 4 for sure.
Okay.
That's why I got into Green Lantern because of him. So.
Oh yeah, because the Justice League show.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah.
The Justice League show for sure.
That's 4. I have 3 left.
That's how math works.
Bitch, what? Yo, pause the clip. What are we doing? That was my old train of thought. Damn.
You're on number, what is it, 3? You're on number 3.
Yes.
This is the last one. Okay. We're trying to do another good one.
He's gonna say Black Panther, guys.
Spider-Man for me is number 1. The way that Peter Parker's been written over and over and over.
It depends the version.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Now we're
Best
talking.
written Spider-Man out there. Also, All New, All Different is really good.
He's not better than Miles though. I'm sorry. He's not better than Spider-Verse Miles. He's not.
Spider-Verse Miles isn't. I don't count that because that's movies. I'm talking about comic books.
Oh, just straight from the books.
Yeah. Well, you're asking for a best written character, which means
they wrote it.
means written on a book, not seen on a screen.
No,
right?
on the screen.
You can do screen too.
You write the script.
Yeah.
Oh, we're including
You
movies.
can do movies too, yeah.
My.
Ghost Rider. That's my number 3.
I know you ain't read anything about Ghost Rider. Why do you think that?
Because Ghost Rider's the fucking GOAT. Fuck Nicolas Cage. Fuck Nicolas Cage. I'm voting that at all. Especially that second Ghost Rider. That shit was ass. But that first one, or if you want to go to the show, or bro, with the fucking Mustang, whatever the fuck it was, that shit was heat too.
It was not.
What the fuck car was?
It was not heat.
It was indeed.
What's Ghost Rider's? What is Ghost Rider's most powerful move?
Look into my soul shit. Or
What's
look
it
into
called?
your soul shit. I don't even know what it's called.
Don't answer.
I don't know what it's called. I know look into my eyes shit. Like
You don't know
what?
jack shit about this character, and you saying he's one of the best.
Hey, whips and chains, brother. That's all I got. That's all I need to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, this show definitely needs HR. I don't know the way you phrase it. This man said whips and chains with a big grin. With a gigantic grin. Half his face just turned into his teeth just now.
Oh, yo, hold on.
He did put on a smile.
Revolution trying to be televised, but what?
Don't listen to him anymore. He don't know anything about
Whips
it.
and chains. What's wrong with that?
Okay, where do you have Spider-Man then, T?
It's
Oh,
number
definitely.
one. It's number one. If we go across the board of characters, Spider-Man, and you can use Miles or Peter because they're both Spider-Man.
For me, it's just Peter, number one.
Yeah, it's also
Fuck
Peter.
Miles. Just Peter.
Fuck Miles is crazy.
Fuck Miles. Peter.
You didn't like Spider-Verse, Miles?
Spider-Verse is fire. Just Peter Parker in general.
I think Peter Parker's he's a more developed character.
Yeah.
I think the only thing Miles has going for him is those Spider-Verse movies and to some the video games. But genuinely his comic book runs since his inception have not been the greatest. His best comic book runs have actually been in other settings with like the Avengers and even Peter himself. Because you can develop him kind of like piggybacking off of other characters.
Mm.
Yeah, but Peter Parker to go.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I noticed you guys don't have any villains on these lists.
Do
you guys think like villains are worse?
No,
Like worse
villains
rated?
are better.
Some good
One of the
villains.
best written villains ever is Doctor Doom. He's actually like if we have a list of best written heroes and best written
Oh,
villains,
that's not true. T did have Magneto at
I had
5.
Magneto.
But you didn't have
He's a
anybody on your
hero.
list.
He's a hero.
Magneto,
to me.
I guess, kind of. A little bit both.
Magneto's right.
He's.
Magneto's just right.
That's
He
a
was actually-
crazy take.
No. Pause. He was actually so correct that Cyclops and Professor X in the comic books just admitted, yeah, these people are never gonna accept us.
Yeah, I think that just like they broke down their will. And
Yeah. So Magneto was right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not sure if that means
I
you're
don't
right.
know.
I think that's just like giving in.
That's a way. That's all I can say. It's not maybe not the way. That's a way. You know.
So okay, let's reorganize. So I listed 5-4,
543.
5-4-3. I would have to say Doctor Doom and the Joker are about the same level of best written villains, in my opinion.
Get some of my villain bag real quick.
Just because they're so different, but like the aura that they have
Put
is.
the Riddler in there. Riddle me this. Is that the goat?
Dude, I forgot to laugh. My fault.
Damn. All right, I'm gonna flow with you.
The Riddler?
Riddle me this.
Okay, so let's do top 3 villains because you guys barely have any villains in your list.
Top 3 villains?
Yeah, top 3 villains because I know you have Joker, you have Doctor Doom on the same level, and who do you have?
My last one, outside of those two, I don't count Magneto as a villain per se, just because he does good and bad. He's just like anti-hero in a sense, but he's more on the anti than the hero. I would probably have to say Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is just hate. He runs on hate.
Yes,
That is true. That's true.
He just runs on hate.
It's actually even higher than Kendrick because he not only like tries to get like celebrities and stuff involved. He involves his entire company.
He's the Kendrick Lamar. He's a Kendrick Lamar of like comic book villains. Like
Yeah,
he has the intelligence, the tools, like everything, and he just runs on hate.
Yes. Bro is a hater for real.
There are like runs where they try to make Lex not hateful, and every time he says, "Nah, no, we're going back. No, we're going back to where we started."
I think I have to do mine. Starting from 3. I'll probably say Deathstroke, which, Sinestro,
This is the first time I've ever heard like Sinestro Glaze.
Sinestro in the top 3.
Yeah,
Teach their
Sinestro.
own.
When he goes
Teach their
wrong.
own.
No. We's the fit. No. Oh.
You just watched the movie, didn't you?
No. For Sinestro.
Yes.
What movie is Sinestro in that he's like the bad guy?
The Green Lantern movie. He does split.
Which
at the
one?
end.
At the very end of the movie. Not shit happens. It's just like kind of they show
Justice
it.
League Unlimited.
You guys remember that movie?
That
I
shit was
prefer
ass.
I didn't,
I was
but-
so mad when
I don't even remember.
I
That shit
prefer
was so bad.
you. Okay, so you're familiar with Trauma, right?
I am.
Green Lantern at that time was one of
Oh.
my favorites.
Because when that movie come out, 2008,
That was
No,
like,
it was after that.
was it?
I think it was 2011,
I'm like 2010.
around there.
See,
Obama
the fact
was
that we
president.
don't even remember when it came out and we
Obama
were
was
kids is
president.
like,
Yeah,
you know?
that shit was so bad.
But
Pissed
Green
me off.
Lantern was one of my favorite characters. I like Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner, all of them. I'm like, they're all different. I love every single one of them.
Yes.
I want to see the Green Lantern movie, and
That shit was a little let down.
I was disappointed. It was like watching. It's like someone like clipping my eyes open and making me watch car accidents over and over again. It was
so fucking bad. Oh god. I'm about
Yeah.
to crash. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Mm.
I know, I feel like that did a lot of damage to.
It did a lot of. It set the superhero movement back, especially
Just for
DC.
everything, like, it set DC back, it set superhero movies back.
Shit.
Honestly, I
it set
think
Green
DC
Lantern back.
Oh,
I think most of Man of Steel hate came off of just like the utter disappointment from Green Lantern.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where. I mean, we can talk about Man of Steel hate because
It's unwarranted.
I think Man of Steel is very good.
I do too. I would agree with you.
I don't get the hate for it. I guess the only problem with it, in my opinion, is like cinematography stuff. But that for the
No.
writing of it, I have
People-
no problem with that
People
all.
that did not like Man of Steel, in my opinion, never read Superman. They've watched Superman, they watched Christopher Reeve, so they're expecting the bright colors. They're expecting he swoops and saves the day, happily ever after, clap, 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 clap. It's over with. They did the same thing with Brandon Routh in Superman Returns, where, you know, bright colors. He had a little bit of dark red on his costume, but it was a very bright blue.
Yeah.
The sets, the city of Metropolis was like, in a way, futuristic, but also very retro.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, I think,
It was a solid.
kind of was the best application of what Superman would look like
Mm-hmm.
in real life. You know,
Just wasted. Wasted potential.
and the Avenue of All-Star Superman is showing that Superman has had humanity, and it was built into him through his upbringing. People that read Superman are very aware that his upbringing is very much like privileged. Like, he grew up on a farm with his family, working hard, loving family, friends, all of that stuff. And then, you know, we see Man of Steel, he has that, and we see it like taken away, and him grappling with that. And that's when I'm like, yeah, that's what makes him like human. He's not just an alien. That's what makes him like Clark Kent,
Exactly. Yeah.
which Clark Kent just is Superman. Like,
Yeah. That's what.
You
yeah.
know, so I
That's
love
the
that
quote
movie.
right
The
there.
hate for it,
I don't understand it.
his suit's too dark. Bruh.
What's he doing? Like,
I know the standard is obviously All-Star Superman, but I think it did justice to the character, and I think that's the most important thing.
Now, if we want to talk
Right.
about Batman versus Superman, different.
How you know that?
Yeah,
name?
we don't have the
How
time
do you know that name?
to talk about that. We don't have to.
We don't need to do that.
But like future, what stuff do you want to see that hasn't been done already?
I need to
That's a
see.
good question.
I need to see a good Flash movie. Not one with Barry Allen. Not one Flashpoint. You can do a Flash movie. It just cannot be about Barry Allen.
No.
It has to be about Wally West. You don't need to do an origin story. So you can use Wally West's character going from, you know, watching Barry Allen die in
From,
some
like,
form or fashion,
yeah, from Kid
and him
Flash to Flash,
filling
yeah.
the shoes
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that. Because, like, I think one thing that, like, James Gunn is taking a crack at, which I actually appreciate about him, is he's not doing origin stories anymore. He's he's well aware that people know the origin story of Superman. People know the origin story of Batman.
Yes.
You know? So he's
It's become
more of making, like, movies about characters actually finding themselves and like what they really stand for when shit hits the fan, when it gets tough. So if you can take that angle with Wally West, who I think is the best Flash, even though I love Barry Allen as the Flash, not the TV show, the comic books.
Fuck no, especially that like season 3. Fuck no.
Yeah, post season 3 I stopped.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring myself to, because so Barry Allen is a figure that's larger than life, of something you have to chase after. That's something you can explore in a movie.
You could, yeah,
very easily.
I can definitely see that.
And people don't need to understand, like, okay, we know who Wally West is, not because, we didn't see him get struck by lightning in his uncle's laboratory, but we know who he is because he's trying to chase after this figure that he saw as, like, larger than life. What you're supposed to be, not just as a hero, but, like, as a man himself. Like, that was, like, his whole, I don't want to say his whole world, but, like, his world was modeled after, like, what Barry Allen was trying to do. Like, he was chasing after the same things Barry was, but he didn't see himself as the same level.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much depth to that character that can be explored into a movie that I just need to see it.
Like, Kid Flash and Young Justice, like, seeing him made me really get into him. Like, even though he was, like, the best in that show, but, like, he was still pretty good.
I think Wally West is actually the best character in that show.
Really?
Yes, he has.
I think he did pretty cool shit. So
he had the best arc, and the second.
Him and Miss Martian, I think, are the best characters in that show.
Yeah, Connor Kent was underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because he's a really good character in the comic books. He's really funny.
But what about you two? What do you want? More Young Justice? Is that what you want?
I definitely want more Young Justice. That's
but is that what do you want most? What do you want most?
Well, more seasons of Young Justice, or do you want to see a Young Justice movie? Like, film adaptation, they restart the whole thing, Impulse, Wonder Girl, Robin, Superboy, like...
It's kind of...
What do you want to see?
Because I'm still with, like, not needing another origin story, so I definitely would watch another Young Justice movie, whereas, like, a TV show, I'm just, like, wondering, like, what exactly, how it will go, but I could definitely see that happening. Or maybe, like, a Teen Titans movie.
That's what you want?
I would fuck with a Teen Titans movie.
So Teen Titans is one of those things where I actually don't think you can start on your own with that.
Well, not.
You really do need to, because
yeah.
Teen Titans is that it's supposed to bring characters that aren't well developed and develop them.
Yeah,
but they need like an actual established character prior to making a Teen Titans roster. So, I mean, you can introduce some character like Beast Boy, Cyborg, Starfire. Those are Teen Titans from Teen Titans.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a Teen Titans roster with like Robin, Kid Flash, Aqualad, you need to know that there is like a pantheon of heroes that they have to try and live up to, in a sense.
Not only that, I feel like to make Teen Titans in the movies work, I think you have to start with lesser known characters. I don't think people want to see like all these well-known characters be thrown together again in a Avengers comedy. I think they would need to start with like, I mean, this is like a long shot, like Static or something, and then bring him and other lesser-known heroes.
That would actually be better for Young Justice, because Teen Titans, it was the point of it was to be the next generation of Justice League, and it kind of transformed from there. But Young Justice, that was just a group of heroes after the Teen Titans. Like, they were a whole separate
I think
thing.
you can flip the context for the making of those teams, especially since we don't have a functioning Justice League right now.
And that's why I don't think really those would be anywhere near. I mean, they can happen, but I don't see them because
you would need more.
To have Teen Titans, you need a Robin. That's like
that's
the flagship.
That's
a flagship character for every Teen Titans roster is Robin or Nightwing. So you need those, and then you need to establish a Robin before you can establish a Teen Titans.
Teen Titans, yeah.
Young Justice, you kind of need Robin, but they've explored with other options beyond that.
He's not as important in Young Justice, so you can kind of play with that a little bit. Not sure how exactly we'll do it, but yeah, definitely Teen Titans would be fine with it.
That'd be so cool.
That would be so cool.
Okay, so what do you got? If you guys were running DC right now, what would y'all do?
First thing,
last because what would y'all do?
Listen. First thing I would do. It's only because I'm a super fan of Green Lantern. I'm rebooting that shit. We first.
Oh no! So let's say you got full reign, full stop. Yeah.
Ooh, shit.
You could just like
Ooh.
Infinity Gauntlet snap.
Like if
and
you were
DCU
starting, if you were
is-
starting where James Gunn is starting right now, what would you do?
I think the first thing, because I'm so down with, like, not having like another introduction to, hey, this is Green Lantern, this is Superman, this is or Batman, whatever the fuck. But I do want to kind of make like a Justice League kind of movie. I would definitely do that again. Not as shady as it was.
So you
like
start
that.
with the Justice
I'll
League?
definitely start with the Justice League and kind of trickle down to everybody else. I think that's like a good like starting for you to get into. But first, especially like not really deep in the comic books, and then you can go off from there. Mostly, I'll do a lot of focus on Green Lantern because that story is fucking gigantic. But other than that, I think that's it. I think I'll just
So
start
what would
with-
be the story for the Justice League? And then what other, like, give me like the first 5 movies.
first 5 movies? So definitely the first one. would
And be
just
as like specific as possible. Like what's the first
the
5?
first one will be. Ooh.
So like you said you're gonna do a Justice League
First
and
one had to
then
be-
do other, so what's the plan?
See, I'm wondering because I kind of want to build it up. I don't want to start with Justice League, kind of like Marvel did. Like they didn't start with Avengers; they started like kind of individual things. But maybe like some sort of I don't want to play with like universes either because that shit gets kind of old real quick.
So old.
That shit gets old so fast.
There's ways to do it.
I think
Yes.
Spider-Verse did it correctly actually. I think
Spider-Verse
flipping it on its head was
Yeah.
clever.
Spider-Verse, Invincible. Well, Invincible I think was like the pioneer of modern
We're working on it,
multiverse.
yeah.
Even though like DC had multiverse
Yeah.
Events in the
Yeah.
past.
I think Crisis does it well too.
Crisis was the first to do it. Yeah, the first Crisis was the first to actually do timelines and all that stuff. In terms of like the variant thing, that came straight from Invincible, just straight up. It was not really a thing. It came out in Invincible, and I guess someone read an Invincible comic book and said, "Hey, what if we do this for Marvel? What if we do this for DC?" And it got really old.
I'll be so down just to start with just Justice League, where everyone like already kind of formed a little bit, and then
You need Zach to go.
no.
Trust me, I have a roadmap.
Because this dude, I already know he's gonna cook, so let me cook first. So I can sit in the background. All right, take my money. No, because I kind of want I do kind of want. Now I'm thinking about it, some individual type shit. So I may flip it, do like some introductions because I think you can definitely do a Cyborg movie pretty good. I think because this story's pretty. That's not really too long his intro, but I think the story's pretty good. Definitely, I would definitely do the Flash way better, and like actually not have some weird fucking dude playing the Flash. I think
So
everyone else can
so
kind of
tell me
fit
like
in.
which versions of the characters you use and
Yeah, you might want Zach to go. Hey.
all right, Zach, you're on.
Now this is for DC, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the first one that I would actually do would be a timepiece Justice Society. Like a World War II movie, almost like how Captain America the First Avenger was.
Okay. So bring it
But
back.
instead of it to be like, I guess more science-y, like how it was in Captain America, I want it to be almost gritty in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like a genuine war movie. I want that to be the first to establish long-time villain organizations. I want that movie to be first.
Mhm.
I don't want Wonder Woman, don't want Superman. I want the old Flash,
Older.
Jay Garrick,
Okay. Oh,
Green
shit.
Lantern, Sandman, Starman, or Stargirl. We can play with it. And I want it to not be an origin story of the Justice Society. I want it to be like a shattering story
You
of
mean
the
like
Justice
Green
Society.
Lantern, like the yellow cape?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
Alan Scott, Green
Oh,
Lantern.
shit.
And I want it to be a movie about how the Justice Society actually breaks up,
Okay.
but in the process wins World War II or something like that.
So-
That's something that I've been thinking about for a while because Justice Society in that timepiece, like in that old time, is very underdeveloped. It's really good.
Kind of like Watchmen, like almost.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, very much similar to Watchmen.
Okay.
Second one, I would actually want it to be The Flash. And I want Barry to die in the beginning and have Wally and have Wally try and develop his powers beyond Kid Flash with Jay Garrick, like an old Jay Garrick.
So Spider-Verse.
No.
Into the Spider-Verse, the first one.
No, because it's all the same timeline. It's not cross timelines.
Yeah, but essentially the same sort of story is what I'm picking up on. The
Jay
current
Garrick-
one dies, leaving the new one to take the mantle and having the old one
Yeah.
mentor the new
However,
one.
Yeah.
Jay Garrick can't run anymore is going to be my twist to it.
Okay.
He's not going to be able to run anymore. He loses his ability to run in the Justice Society movie.
Yeah, but just the dynamics.
The dynamic's
Yeah,
going to be
yes.
the same. Because from there, you can also explore surrounding characters. Like, you can have some of Wally's Teen Titan friends that, you know, people don't really know about. You can have, like, Roy Harper. You can have Donna Troy, Raven, Beast. You can have those, like, come in as cameos, but it's going to be centered around Wally West finding his you know, his way of being the Flash. After that, it's going to be a Batman and Robin movie. And
Which
it's
one?
Tim Drake. Tim Drake. I don't like Damian. Damian doesn't exist in this timeline ever. Ever. I don't like Damian.
Upbirth his ass, yeah.
Yes. And it's going to be Tim Drake, and it's going to be, I think, following more of the Hush storyline.
Oh,
But I want to incorporate Robin more into it just because there hasn't been a lot of serious adaptations for Robin. There's been Titans, which... Yeah, it doesn't do the character justice. Dick, Jason, or Tim, not really done well. And I want it to almost be centered around the relationship between Batman and Robin as Batman is like losing his mind trying to figure out who Hush is. I mean, in the comic books, that's basically what the entire story is around, is Batman freaking out of like, I don't know who this guy is. Every lead that I get turns into be just another question and another mystery. I think that would be awesome. It establishes Gotham's rogues gallery, because you're going to have to include Catwoman, the Joker, the Riddler, Two-Face. You have to incorporate everybody. So it's almost like a movie that would just world build Gotham City in a way, and just add context to the universe that it's in. Like, you know, Iron Man kind of, well, not really Iron Man. I'd say Thor did that more than other movies in the MCU, where it established, like, a world beyond just simply Iron Man, or, like, the history books of Captain America. It's like, no, there is more out there. So, kind of just paint a picture of what the DC world looks like further. After that, I would want to see a Green Lantern movie with Kyle Rayner. And instead of Hal Jordan being his mentor, I want it to be John Stewart. Hal Jordan is going to be dead, but turn out to just be Parallax, and that's going to be the fight that they're going to have to go through. John training up Kyle. John does not have a ring. Kyle's the torchbearer, and John's supposed to be the one to guide him to help restart the Green Lantern Corps, kind of reestablish. I want it to be a turning point movie of that DC universe where they're starting to become heroes less individualized and isolated in their cities, and more coming back into, like, you know, stopping things. I would say the fourth and fifth movie would be a two-part Justice League.
That would be fire.
Two-part Justice League with Kyle Rayner, John Stewart.
All these characters,
Yeah. All the characters that we have introduced, and I want Superman to be the flagship character of that Justice League. You know, Superman is always going to be referenced in, you know, superhero lines because he's like the Jesus Christ of these you know, heroes. Like Batman, Superman's the GOAT. You know, you ask the Flash who the best hero on the planet is, Superman. Everyone's inspired by Superman in some way or form, and I want Superman to be the one to almost kind of be nervous about that, you know, mantle that people have of him. Like, at the end of the day, like, yes, he's Superman, but Clark Kent is a person.
he's just a dude.
Yeah, you know, I want him to be kind of on the younger side in relation to Batman. Usually they try to keep him the same age, but I like the dynamic within the Snyderverse of Superman just being younger and Batman being more experienced.
I actually like that dynamic.
That
I think it
dynamic
explores,
I
like,
like a
because
lot.
Batman, like, even though, you know, he has the smarts and everything, he still, when he thinks of a hero, he still thinks, no, you're better than all of us. and Superman doesn't know because he
doesn't
thinks
get it
Batman
because he has
is
doubt. Superman has
Yeah.
doubt. He doesn't have as much experience. Batman has seen the worst of humanity. So seeing the best of humanity in Superman is something that I want to explore.
But I think Batman and Superman's dynamic just in general needs to be explored more. I think that would be great.
And not in like a violent setting of they hate each other, because in the comic books they don't. Like they have disagreements, but
yeah, they're best friends.
they're best
they're
friends.
cool,
Batman
yeah.
relies on nobody else. He's like, if I go crazy, Superman's the only guy I trust to stop me. And then Superman's the same way. He like every piece of kryptonite that he finds, he's like, here you go, Batman, here you go, just in case I go crazy. Yeah, so I think in that way they can explore the relationship of Superman and Batman in a way of like light friendship instead of critique,
cool.
violence, conflict, and kind of almost as a supporting figure. Batman won't ever be a flagship figure in this universe. Like he will be a force of nature and just kind of like Aura farm the whole time, but he won't be what the story follows per se. Everybody knows about Batman. You want to build on the surrounding characters of the DCU to strengthen the ones that are known. So, you know, you have Superman with Batman almost being a mentor figure.
Okay.
I mean, Batman and Robin, I think, are going to be like this in this
sounds like
movie
it,
universe. Just because we've explored Batman on his own. We haven't explored Batman and Robin. And I know that it's hard to explore Robin as a character.
Just in movies, it's really hard to like, this grown man is taking, you know, this teenage boy out and fighting. Like, it looks awkward, you know, on camera.
Yeah.
With real people.
And in the Batman and Robin
I think
movie,
I feel like you have to age up Robin to make that work.
in the
Like,
Batman
make
and
him
Robin movie,
17.
I would make Robin like late teens, and I would make part of the storyline him like forcing his way into Batman's life. That's how Tim Drake came to be Robin. He basically found him out and said, I want to be Robin, or I'm going to tell a bunch of people. And Batman's like, guess you can be trained, I guess. So I think that's a dynamic that can be shown, because it strengthens Batman.
Is Wonder Woman in this one?
Of course.
Oh, she exists.
Of course. This is going to introduce Wonder Woman.
Okay.
So who's in this Justice League?
In this Justice
Before we
League,
go to T.
you're going to have Jon Stewart as a Green Lantern, not Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner was explored, but he doesn't really fit well on a Justice League roster, in my opinion. He fits better on a Titans roster. You're going to have Jon Stewart, Wonder Woman. You're going to have Batman and Robin. You're going to have Superman. And then, honestly, what I would do either Hawk Girl or I would do Zatanna.
I think
Bro's deep in the bag right now.
I really think Zatanna would work great in a
Zatanna
Justice
would work
League
great
setting.
Yeah.
In a Justice
Especially
League
since in
setting.
Unlimited we already got a Hawkeye, even though it's excellent. I love her dynamic with the League, but I think Zatanna with the League is a great idea.
Yeah, and it adds it kind of like rounds the experience of the character. So you have like two people that know about magic in different capacities. Wonder Woman with her knowledge of magic and like ancient Greek and like gods and all that stuff. And then Zatanna, who's like a magician and like can actually like use it. Then you have Batman and Robin, who are very much like in tune with the streets, in tune with like the people level issues. You have Superman, larger than life figure, who unsure of himself, and all these surrounding people that really want to depend on Superman and vice versa. I think if you can build a movie around those interpersonal dynamics rather than them being individuals.
So who's like, okay, or is there gonna be like a trinity, or is it just like Superman's the flagship? And
Superman's gonna be the flagship of the Justice League movie that I'm thinking of, just like how Captain America was the flagship character of Civil War.
Yeah.
I disagree. I
that was
honestly
an
think
Avengers
it's him and Iron Man. Like that's what the MCU is like.
Well, no,
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean
combination
for
of
Civil
the
War,
two.
the movie itself, Captain America would.
Oh yeah, because it was Captain
That's
America.
what I'm saying.
Oh,
So,
like okay.
so in this one, it'll be obviously a broader movie.
So
but
yeah,
the
no, I'm just
flagship
being like
will be
not the
Superman.
movie of like your vision of like your.
Yes.
So of the
This
entire
sounds
thing.
convoluted because it is, and because I have not written this down. This has just been what I've been thinking about for a long
Cooking
time
for
now.
a minute now.
Dude, like, it's gonna sound confusing because you really need to like know the comic books to understand the interpersonal dynamics of these heroes. But that's what makes them so good, is not them on their own. Like I think rarely do we have heroes that are just really good on their own. Like you have Iron Man, sort of, and I say sort of because his best storylines have the War Machine.
Yeah, Iron Man's not like.
he's
just the guy is cool now.
Yeah, it's not one man against the world. Captain America is always paired with either the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, or the Falcon, which is good. It helps round out the character. But like, Batman can stand alone, Spider-Man can stand alone, Superman can stand alone. But like, the best parts of all those characters when they're not standing alone.
It's honestly those collab stories.
It's the collaborations.
Yeah.
Like, each hero feeds off of other heroes in the comic books in ways that aren't described in the movies. Like, James Gunn is trying to do that with his new Superman movie of just being like, no, there's a broader world of heroes that Superman exists in. You know, in Man of Steel, he was the first. And I'm like, I mean, I guess. And then they were just like, well, actually, Batman was the first. And it's like, okay, so are there other heroes in this world? Yes or no? And it was kind of like an unanswered question until the end of Batman vs Superman and the start of Justice League.
Yeah, they kind of confused that a lot.
And that's more on the production and like studio side of things than what Zack Snyder wanted. Zack Snyder actually had a coherent story, whether it was good or not. You know, his Snyder cuts had a coherent storyline through all of them. Granted, that's about 8 hours worth of movies you'd have to watch.
Yep.
Which, that's not optimal.
That's crazy, yeah.
But, yeah. So I kind of want to establish that there is a broader network of heroes out there, and you don't need to know all the heroes. Like, I think that's a mistake that a lot of people want in a movie. It's like, oh, you have to introduce a character. It's like, not really. If you want to mention Firestorm, which is not a not well-known character in the context of a Flash movie or a Justice League movie, you can do that. Like, Firestorm's character is not consequential at all.
No.
Which is, like, good or bad. It's up to preference, but you don't need to have every hero be a consequential aspect towards the main plot. So, and I would split it up in part 1 and 2. And it would be centered around, the Sinestro Corps.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
And the reason I say Sinestro Corps is because there are different members of the Sinestro Corps that will pair up against heroes in the Justice League.
No, I think that's actually... I mean, the hard part about the Justice League is that they're so powerful that it's kind of hard to, especially make a movie where it's like a believable threat.
Well, the thing about the Sinestro Corps too is that in the comic books they have this line called the Sinestro War, where the Sinestro Corps puts belt to ass to the Justice League. Like, they're put like all the way back. They get yellow power rings to Kryptonians and different aliens that already have innate abilities already. And Sinestro, like, the yellow power ring was supposed to be stronger than the green power ring. So Green Lantern can do things against it, sure.
That's like the biggest weakness is fear.
Exactly, but part of the yellow ring is that it's got more firepower up front. You know, it's not like it's obviously not as resilient, but people don't know that. It's not as resilient to the green. But the Sinestro Corps is like some serious stuff, and you can introduce that through Green Lantern. With, since they fight Parallax at the end, Parallax escapes. And in the Sinestro War,
that kind of brings on.
Well, Parallax possesses the Flash, so that takes out the strongest member of the Justice League like that. And now it's even footing. Now you got a movie.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about that hard. He's really put something
Did that
together.
influence your
I'm gonna have to go back
plan?
to the drawing board first, because that I have not done.
How about you think about it? We could do it like next episode.
Yeah, episode 2, I'll tell you my storyline, how I put it together. But how long has it been?
It's been like an hour.
Yeah,
like an hour. Just
it's been like an hour.
An hour with just talking.
Yeah, I think it was a good introduction to like where we stand as fans, as like consumers of this stuff. So.
We love the game, we love the books, we love to read, love to watch TV.
Ideally, in further episodes, we go into like specific details of different comic book lines, characters, even movies, draw comparisons. It's like we're just trying to keep it casual, to where it's almost like if you ask someone something about a comic book that you're not sure of, you're not going to get the, well, actually, in issue number 31.
Well, what you really is.
We're not doing that. We're trying to make it palatable to the normal, to like the movie consumer, the video game player, anybody who's interested. I don't want to like put a put a wall between. You have to read like 80 issues to be able to understand this dynamic. But
there's
way
so
too much.
much to consume. So a nice chill space to hear some knowledge about some books. So that'd be pretty good.
No mask required.
No mask required. Shit. Ooh. Wait a minute. All right, y'all. Well, that's episode.
And on that
That's episode 1.
We'll see y'all next time.
We'll see y'all next week.